In 1922, Howard Carter found the most famous tomb in the world. Tutankhamun, the boy king, sealed behind stone for over 3,000 years, surrounded by gold. But almost from the start, something about the tomb bothered the people who studied it. It was too small. Too cramped. It looked less like a pharaoh's grave and more like a back room. And nearly a century later, scientists pointed radar at one of its painted walls to ask a simple question. Was there something on the other side? Egyptian kings were buried in sprawling tombs, long corridors, and chambers cut deep into the rock of the Valley of the Kings. Tutankhamun got 4 small rooms. His treasures looked crammed in, almost stacked. To some experts, the layout felt more like the tomb of a queen or a noble, hastily reused when the young king died unexpectedly. As if the burial had been improvised. As if the space was never meant for him at all. In 2015, a British Egyptologist named Nicholas Reeves studied a set of very high-resolution scans of the tomb's walls. And beneath the painted plaster, he believed he could see faint straight lines. The outlines, he argued, of 2 doorways that had been blocked up and hidden. If he was right, Tutankhamun's tomb was not complete. It was the front section of something larger. And behind the north wall, Reeves proposed, lay another burial. Older. Grander. Still sealed. And Reeves named a name. Nefertiti. The famous queen, wife of the heretic pharaoh Akhenaten, a woman who may have ruled Egypt in her own right, and whose tomb has never been found. Tutankhamun was likely her stepson. What if, Reeves asked, the boy king had been squeezed into the entrance of Nefertiti's own tomb? It was a spectacular idea. One of archaeology's greatest missing burials, hidden a few feet behind the most visited wall in Egypt. Now they needed a way to look without touching a single stone. The tool was ground-penetrating radar. You press an antenna against the wall and send pulses of radio energy into the stone. Solid rock reflects the signal one way. But an empty space, a void, a hidden chamber, reflects it differently. Read those echoes carefully, and in theory you can map what lies behind a wall without ever laying a finger on it. In late 2015, a specialist named Hirokatsu Watanabe ran his radar across Tutankhamun's walls. The first results were electrifying. Watanabe's readings, officials announced, showed reflections consistent with 2 empty spaces behind the walls, and hints of material inside them, possibly metal, possibly organic. Egypt's antiquities minister told the press he was 90% sure there was a hidden chamber. For a moment, the world braced for the discovery of the century. And then a second team showed up with their own radar, and the story began to come apart. A survey backed by National Geographic ran a second set of scans, and found nothing clear at all. No obvious voids. No tidy edges. So Egypt called in a third team, from the Polytechnic University of Turin, with some of the most thorough radar work ever done in the valley. They scanned the walls from multiple angles, and their conclusion was blunt. There was no hidden chamber. No corridor. No blocked doorway. The area behind the wall, they said, was simply solid rock. 3 teams. 3 radars. And answers that flatly contradicted each other. How can radar disagree with itself? Because radar does not hand you a photograph. It hands you echoes, and echoes have to be interpreted. Rough stone, old repairs, cracks, changes in the rock, and even the way the data is processed can all create signals that look like a hidden room but are not. One expert sees a doorway. Another sees noise. Both are looking at the same wall. And so the boy king's tomb became a lesson in how a powerful tool can point 2 careful teams in opposite directions. So where does it stand? Officially, most experts now believe there is no secret chamber behind Tutankhamun's wall. Reeves has never fully backed down. Nefertiti's tomb is still out there somewhere, undiscovered. And the small, strange, wrong-sized tomb of the boy king still has not fully explained itself. Maybe the radar was right the first time. Maybe it was right the last time. What we can say for certain is that we pointed the best tools we had at a painted wall, and we could not agree on what was hiding behind it. The scans are real. The sources are below. Decide for yourself.